The start of the story starts in the most unexpected location. Good old Chuck E. Cheese. Now wait a minute, I know what you might be thinking. What does Chuck E. Cheese have to do with Sonic? But yes, there's a point to the story, I swear. Do you remember when McDonald's does that collab with Monopoly, where they have the stickers on the cups and you peel it off to win a prize? Well, one time, me and my family went to Chuck E. Cheese, and they were doing like the same kind of promotion there. I don't remember if it was Monopoly, but it was like the same premise. So there I was, little old me, pulling the sticker off of my cup, and what do you know? It says I won a free copy of Sonic Adventure 2. Look, I even have the picture here to prove it. But guess what? The cheapskates couldn't even afford to give me the Battle DLC. Now, fast forward to the present, where I had an idea. Speedrunning. But not just focusing on one game to be the best, but to master them all. Or to get close. This is the first in a series where I strive to be in the top 25% of runners in a specific game. At the time of this recording, there are 786 runners, and to be in the top 25%, I had to be 196.5. Okay, so I just said 195th with a time of 35:17. The first step is to actually play the game. We're going to be focusing on the most popular category, with it being Hero Story. Even with years of this game being in my library and just being released in general, I never made it past the first level. With no knowledge of the game, I decided to give it a try, and I got a time of... oh, yeah, it's gonna take a while. So, I got to work. For these couple of months, I've been playing the game non-stop and dedicated to the cause. Before we start, let's go over their playstyles. Sonic is your traditional Sonic levels where you'll be running and rolling around at the speed of sound. Knuckles has to find the broken pieces of the Master Emerald in his levels, where you are reading hints and following your detector to find 3 pieces in each level. And finally Tails, where he operates a mech with a more run and gun focused level design with platform elements. And with that, let's get started. Good old City Escape. Here, in the beginning of the run, of course there isn't any upgrades or anything, so it's just all about optimizing the run here and not crashing into anything. Right here is a skip where it can save you like a minute or so if you get to do it right, but I decided against learning it. It's too close in the beginning where if I keep messing up, it's just endless resets where I could just be getting better in other aspects of the run. With a quick city escape here, we get to do a little boss where we get to do the same thing 4 times in a row, and after that, we can move on. Next, we make it to the first Knuckles level. Now, the gimmick with this is that there's 3 pieces that are randomized every time, and you have to use these hint TVs to guide you. If you are lucky, sometimes you can see the pieces out in the open, but it's all about memorizing these levels and the least amount of hints to save time. The run went pretty well with me remembering where they all were, except for a little hiccup here of me just missing a piece, but nonetheless I finished with an added 4.1 seconds of time save. Here, we are introduced with a Tails level in the form of a boss battle. And remember how last fight was just me doing the same thing 4 times in a row? Yeah, it's basically the same thing here. You just aim forward and shoot. Except, this time, bro decided to run away from me, so I had to chase him down, losing a couple seconds. But now we move on to the first actual Tails level, Prison Lane. Once again, before any upgrades, the skips or time saves we could do are a bit limited with this level, just being about little optimizations, such as getting on top of this rail to skip this little section, or using a homing attack somewhere here to destroy the robot, opening the gate a bit faster. And with that, we secured a good 0.7 second time save. Now here's the part where it starts getting interesting. Meadow Harbor. We start off falling to the right side of the stage to be in position to skip part of the loop here, just by homing attacking to the right and moving on to the dash pad. We do a little spin dash and jump here to skip the bounce springs and move on to the next section, where we have to utilize a spin dash jump, which is exactly what it sounds like. We do one more of them to skip most of the enemies right here, and this is where we get the first upgrade in the game, the light shoes. They allow us to dash along a line of rings at high speeds. And while it sounds cool on paper, Sonic Adventure 2 is a completely perfect game where nothing ever goes wrong, especially the light dash always working as intended. I always get scared when I have to use this above a void, which is just how many times that has betrayed me. But nevertheless, we use it here, and we do a homing attack cancel by pressing A and B together, otherwise the loop will mess you up. Now, when you get to these little sections here, casually, you're supposed to press B to somersault under them. But you could just hold B a little bit before you get into it, and you could just walk right straight through it. I use it right here to set up a spin dash jump to skip all the enemies right here, and go straight to the little rocket to go to the bigger rocket. Alright, so this section here is supposed to be really intense. You're supposed to be running up the ramp here to beat the clock to hitch a ride on the rocket. Or you could go to the little ramp over here, spin dash jump up, skipping the entire thing, and land it on the springs, landing immediately to the rocket. When on the rocket, just spam A. That'll make it so you can fall off of the rocket a couple of seconds faster. Once you fall off, you're going to ride down here for a little bit. Once you get to the speed pads, go to the first one, but jump and avoid the second one. Another home and attack cancel here, and we make it straight to the goal ring. Yay, we got another boss fight here. Our first fight was Shadow.
Faker.
While the fight is just some home and attacks until you win, I'm not gonna lie, he was juking the crap out of me. Actually flying across the stage costed me most of my save time. And this isn't the last time he's gonna do something like this to me. But we can't be sad for long, because we're moving on to Green Forest, where the island is set to blow up.
Blows up?
Yes, blow up. And this is one of my more lacking stages where I didn't learn all of the tricks, so it's just all about optimization here. The level is pretty straightforward and not that much deviation from the normal path, except things like getting this top spring to get more speed to get to the spring, or using the light dash across the line of rings here to speed. Oh. But that's okay, because I do know one skip in this level. By holding an up left position right here, you can skip over the ramp, saving you a little bungee segment and land you right here, saving you like 10 seconds. With everything falling apart, we rush to the goal with a whopping 1.1 time save. In terms of environment, I would put Pumpkin Hill as the best aesthetically compared to any of the other Knuckle levels. This is the level where we get the first Knuckles upgrade. It's just iron claws here that lets us dig into floors or the wall to get any pieces that might be hidden in there. We had really good luck throughout the entire run here. We did have a little mishap in the third piece, which costed us all of our time here. So for the first time in a run, we are in the red. Moving on. Mission Street. It's a fun Tails level where we get his first upgrade, the booster. It lets Tails hover, and this also becomes one of the most important upgrades in this run just because of a little trick called a pause hover. When you jump, you press the pause button and unpause again by not pressing A, but by the pause button again, because as soon as you do that, you're going to press A again to hover. And if you did it correctly, you should have gained more height than what is possible by just a little hover. This is one of the most important tricks I know, as it will be used heavily in the next Tails level. Some little funny tricks are used here, like this big jump, and after that it's smooth sailing with a staggering 0.1 time save. Aquatic Mine is one of the easier Knuckles levels for me, and this was a good run. We start off by getting the first hint, then going all the way to the top to lower the water levels. We destroy the robot and this minecart because sometimes they have a free piece, and we are on our way to the first piece. We are pretty lucky to spawn in with a free piece right here, so that saves us quite a bit of time, and we scoop it up before getting the last piece, making us a really good time save segment. Route 101 is a pretty unique level, as it's the only driving segment in Hero Story. The only time saving tactics you could use is of course good driving and to always be drifting. In the game, drifting has a higher speed cap than regular driving, so we can gain more speed by constantly drifting. We do that in combination with a boost and we should be good to go. This was a pretty easy break before the second half of the game, where the run will get harder and we will have to perform more complex tricks. Now, Hidden Baits is the most technical Tails level. We start off doing a little shenanigans to get on top of these little platforms, and we do a pause over to skip this door, and another one here to skip a little part of the stage. You get the gist. There's a lot of pause hovers here to gain extra height, and the most blatant example is here in the end, where we do a couple of pause hovers to get on top of this platform, and again here, and check this out. Oh, we love an out of bounds trick. And that was about it for Hidden Base, giving us a massive time save and for us to be on pace now to beat the goal. Pyramid Cave has my favorite Sonic upgrade, the Bounce Bracelet. Normally, you're supposed to press B twice to gain extra height for some platforms, but we are barely going to use that as intended. We're going to be doing something called a Super Bounce. By spin dashing and bouncing right before hitting a wall, you can gain massive heights. I don't really use it a lot here in this level, but there's a future level where it has a big roll and a skip. We open the door and grind all the way down here till we make it to another door. Now, we're supposed to be taking a detour to grab a key all the way over there and come back to open the door with it. Or you could do a spin dash jump at this very specific location right here and boom, there you go. We do a little bit more running and rolling, and that's it for Pyramid Cave. We were a bit slow this run, so we did lose around 10 seconds, making us under the goal needed. Death Chamber is the funniest Knuckles level to me, just because the strat here is to find the first key as fast as you can, and guess what? You proceed to kill yourself. You do this because upon death, the remaining pieces left get shuffled into new spots, and piece number 2 has a good chance to spawn in the opening room. This is a good tactic to use because even if you get some unlucky rolls, the timer stops upon death for a bit because the run is based on game time, not real time, so it is a viable option. Our third piece was not that far away, and we found it pretty fast, giving us an incredible time save, putting us at a very comfortable position. The one Knuckles tech I actually learned will be used in this next boss fight, King Boom Boo. Now, casually, this fight will take a while as you're just waiting for him to let his guard down and you hit him once every opening. But, with this cool trick, you can do it in one fell swoop. When you start the cycle, after hitting the ghost, you're going to want to jump, glide for a second, and then land. Once you land, you immediately throw one punch. By doing this, you're going to give Knuckles the speed necessary to catch up with Boom Boo and keep pace with him. Be sure to hit him below the arm. If you don't do that, he's going to backflip and you're going to lose the cycle, costing you like 40 seconds. Give him a good 3 Mississippi count between each hit and you'll be fine. The Egg Golem fight. Oh boy, the Egg Golem fight. I have something to say about this guy. So, the trick with this is that you're supposed to be in this very specific spot on any of these platforms and perform a spin dash. Doing that launches you right up at the target. Repeat that a few times and you're good. But, for some reason, I guess I forgot how to do it because it was just not working for me. And when it does, he snipes me out of the air. And get this, when he does this little ballerina attack, even if you kill him during it, you have to wait until the animation is done before the fight ends. He does have this thing where he can headbutt the floor and you can double bounce to hit the spot. But other than that, screw this fight. I lost 30 seconds. Moving on. Eternal Engine has one of the funniest skips in the run that basically invalidates the entire level with a skip known as Bofa skip. Now, going past the funny name, it is a wacky skip. So, you're supposed to run at these two boxes and jump and shoot at the same time to get under the top box. The box is going to push you down to clip you out of bounds. And man, just take a look. I did mess it up a bit, so I did lose a couple seconds, but other way, that's both a skip. Meteor Herd is the last Knuckle stage, but it doesn't really have any notable tech that I used. It was just about good memorization. But, as you can see in the live splits, there's a little section there that says current pace. It's just basically the estimate of your ending runtime. Now, after the mess of the Egg Golem boss, we're on thin ice here, with a pace of 35:16, which is the exact time we need to beat the challenge. And with a mishap on the third piece, we are now slow, and with not that many splits left, we're in big trouble. The Rouge fight is one of the hardest obstacles in a run. Seriously, it should just be the final boss because it's even harder to shadow. Yep, and that was pretty much it. That's the last time I'm going to use Knuckles in this run. Crazy Gadget is also a stage where I mainly use the vanilla route while doing some optimizations. We do gain the last Sonic upgrade for the run, but it has very limited use. It just gives us a fire somersault to break some boxes. We do have a big skip here in the end where we're supposed to go through this big space puzzle, but by doing a simple super bounce here, we can do some funny shenanigans and skip the whole last part. Oh man, this last Eggman fight was a pain when I first started runs. This isn't like the first fight where we just pointed forward and shoot. Nah, this guy has a few more tricks up his sleeve, what I like to call his raw level 3. Bro just shoots a giant beam at you and it's so hard to avoid, you could be lucky and pause over to barely dodge it, or you could be hit by a comically large punching glove right before and being lined up for a beam straight to the face. So, I lost my first attempt, but I did get the run back, but we are looking worse with a pace of 35:28. Final Rush is the last Sonic stage that takes forever to do. It's the scariest one with floating rails everywhere, and one misstep and you're falling all the way down to the earth, which of course is a very bad thing, and Okay. Well, we saved 5 seconds, but we're still running under pace heading into the final boss. Shadow has been a pain in my ass every other run, juking me out and throwing me off the stage, but now I had to lock in. I've been messing up the timing for the hits so my hits weren't hidden, and as the timer was winding down, I was losing hope. In my streams, I was known to fumble big leads, and I don't even have a big lead here. I was fighting an uphill battle. Shadow's one of the hardest fights here where I just didn't know the timing here. Hits weren't hidden. Hits weren't hidden. I was panicking. I can't let this be another failure.
I should have done more training. I can't hit these. There's a time into it to make sure I can hit this, but I didn't bother to learn. I said I would have been fine, and it's looking like I'm not. I can't do this. He falls off the stage, costing me precious time. I'm running out of time. I need 2 more hits to do this, and my timing has been terrible.
But we pulled through. The challenge is done. With 0.73 milliseconds remaining until we lost, we finally finished. We were faster by 0.73 milliseconds. That's how much time we had until this run was worthless, and I had to spend like 2-3 more maybe weeks to do a run that's as close as this. We don't have to do that. We did it. And now after that, I can reveal some stats. We finished with 175 attempts. We had a total playtime of 183.3 hours. We managed to get Twitch affiliate on our Twitch channel, and this was 3 months worth of grinding. And all that grinding finally paid off. With our name firmly in the leaderboards, we can consider this challenge complete. First, I want to give a thank you to all you guys here for sticking around to the end. I really appreciate that. Thank you for letting me show you what I can do with one of these videos. On screen are going to be some other wonderful people who encouraged me, gave me some hints about some things I was stuck on, anything during this journey that I couldn't do by myself. Yep, thank you guys so much for that. I want to give a thank you to the Speedrunner community, first of all. They, gave me huge encouragement, gave me such, motivation to keep going with this run and actually finishing it. I want to give a thank you to my buddy Cybernetic Moth, who helped me with the drawings in the beginning of the story. I could have done it without him. I can't draw for anything, so I need someone to do that, right? There's going to be a link to the YouTuber Traitor, who has a playlist on Sonic Speedrunner. He, split everything by level, showed you the route, showed you how to do the tricks. That's how I learned like 90% of my thing here. That's the only reason I could have done this. So huge shout outs to him. Other than that, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you join me in another stream where I do the next game. We already decided that it's going to be Mario Odyssey. So it's going to be a while where this another video is going to be out like this. So I hope you can join me in the streams. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.